This episode of Off The Script is brought to you by Wrestlecrate. Wrestlecrate is a monthly pro wrestling-based subscription service, and each month, subscribers will receive a new pro wrestling-themed mystery crate. To go and subscribe, please go and visit their website at www.wrestlecrate.com and on Twitter at WrestleCrates. What is going on, guys? JD from New York here, and this, especially after this weekend, is the number one undisputed source for WWE news and rumors, right here on YouTube.com. This is Off The Script, episode number 68, part number 1, to start your weekend off the right fucking way, man. And I want to thank each and every one of you who stopped by my Elimination Chamber review and results video. Without question, the most popular upload on my channel. By the end of the Elimination Chamber, by today, as you see this video, 157,000 views on that motherfucker. I want to thank each and every one of you who came by and respected my opinion on the show. We gained over 350 subscribers off that one video, and we are inching closer to 30,000 members of Team JD. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. We're going to continue doing it with Off The Script right into Money in the Bank and all summer up until SummerSlam. Thank you guys, all right? If you're not following me on Twitter, do so at JD from NY206, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, Google+, and if you're not subscribed to this channel, I want you to fucking people's elbow that motherfucking subscribe button and subscribe right here for all your WWE news and rumors, alright? Now, what a big week. Minus the Elimination Chamber buzz from my video, the only other thing that we can talk about and that everyone has been talking about has been Stone Cold Steve Austin, the WWE Hall of Famer, one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. He held a podcast on the WWE Network with one of the best men in the business, probably in the history of wrestling, on the microphone, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman will go down as a WWE Hall of Famer, a fucking icon in this industry, one of the best managers of all time. You name it, his resume speaks for itself. They shot the breeze, bullshitting on the WWE Network up until the final 10 minutes of that podcast, which has everyone talking. I have news on that, which you guys are going to want to listen to, okay? Now, speaking of that podcast, in the latest edition of the Stone Cold Podcast, WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. Steve Austin says he wants Brock Lesnar in a Texas death match at Wrestlemania 32. As previously reported, Austin has talked about possibly working a match at the 32nd annual WrestleMania event, but only if the opponent, match type, etc. were something he'd love to do. Austin had previously mentioned wanting to work a match with Lesnar, something that he never accomplished during his in-ring career. He also has stated that he would only work WrestleMania 32 if, and I quote, all the stars were aligned right. During the Paul Heyman edition of the Stone Cold Podcast on the WWE Network, Heyman and Austin discussed a number of topics in a very humorous and unscripted manner for about 58 minutes. Then, Heyman asked if he could ask Austin a question to close out the show. The second question Paul Heyman asked Stone Cold Steve Austin is if he would be interested in facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32 in Arlington, Texas on April 3rd, 2016 at AT&T Stadium. Austin replied by telling Heyman that if he did, he'd kick Lesnar's ass. He also said that even though this match may not happen, that he would beat Lesnar's ass if WWE sanctioned a Texas death match for WrestleMania. Austin claimed that he didn't want to have a scientific bout with Lesnar, but a straight-up fist fight. The tone of the podcast show quickly changed to a kayfabe-laden environment. Austin became the rattlesnake where he was talking in character, almost cutting the promo to begin this feud. It seemed as if Austin and Heyman were shooting B-roll for the WrestleMania 32 video package that will play before Austin versus Lesnar. Now, sources have said Austin is in excellent shape as he's been hitting the weights hard for over a year now. The seeds planted in Monday's podcast interview with Paul Heyman for a match against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32 were very intentional. Austin will have to be physically cleared by WWE's medical team by the end of the summer for such a match to take place, but if he wants to work and gets the clearance, this could happen, okay? The next step will be deciding what to do with Austin, and that also means figuring out what's going to happen with The Rock. We all know Vince McMahon covets Brock Lesnar versus The Rock at WrestleMania, which would mean Austin would need a different opponent. A possible bout with Triple H has come up. However, WWE is clearly leaving their options open for the biggest show of the year and are hoping to have Austin or Rock or both to set the attendance record for WWE at WrestleMania in AT&T Stadium and break their all-time record in WWE history. Okay, now, I have breaking news tomorrow for Off the Script. WrestleMania breaking news. Where Vince McMahon stands right now as far as what direction he wants to go for WrestleMania 32. Like as of this Thursday, I have breaking news, which will be the top story for Off the Script tomorrow. Okay, I'm saving it for tomorrow. I'm not going to upload again tonight because YouTube always fucks up my second upload. I'm going to upload that motherfucker tomorrow morning, okay, Saturday. WWE has two different ways to swing this, okay? If you want Austin, which will likely be his last match, Brock Lesnar versus Steve Austin needs to happen. You don't plant seeds like that on the podcast, on the WWE Network, with a lot of people watching, if you're not going to go through with this plan, okay? Austin right now, if he does get clearance to come back, it will be his last match. You don't want him going against Triple H because right now, it wouldn't make any sense unless WWE wants to have Vince McMahon come back in some capacity on TV and have Steve Austin represent Vince while Triple H fights for himself and the authority on who takes over the company. That's the only way you would have Austin versus Triple H. But the seeds were planted at WrestleMania 31 with Ronda Rousey and Triple H and Stephanie McMahon and The Rock in the middle of that ring for almost 25 minutes. WWE obviously wants Ronda Rousey in some way, shape, or form for WrestleMania. They want her to be mingling with The Rock. They want Stephanie McMahon and Triple H to be a part of that big storyline that more than likely would take place at WrestleMania, okay? I wouldn't want to see anything other than what we've seen at WrestleMania 31. Whether it's The Rock versus Triple H one-on-one, whether it's Ronda Rousey and The Rock in a mixed tag team match against Stephanie and Triple H, that could go as planned as well, because you're not going to book a one-on-one match with Ronda Rousey and Stephanie McMahon. It's just not going to happen. It's just too unrealistic. You're not going to have Ronda Rousey go in the ring and mingle with Stephanie McMahon for 15 minutes in a regular women's match. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So you're either going to get The Rock versus Triple H and, both women in each respective corners. That's it. That's the only way you can look at it. Okay? You're not going to have a one-on-one match with both women. Not going to happen. I would rather see that, simply because this would be Austin's last match ever. That's it. WrestleMania 32, he goes out on top, sets attendance records, and he rides off into the fucking Arlington, Texas sunset, man. That is it. You're not going to have Austin come back at all. Now, obviously, it would be different if CM Punk was in the WWE. Then maybe you can convince Stone Cold Steve Austin to come back. But when Austin and Punk even fucking becomes a thought, Austin's going to be well into his mid-50s. Not going to happen. Going to be in worse shape than he is right now. But according to sources, he's in excellent shape. He's in excellent shape right now. Austin has said that he can go. He can go in the ring if he wanted to, man. So, whether or not Austin is at WrestleMania. He will be there in some capacity, but they are dropping hints that he will be in a wrestling capacity at WrestleMania. Lesnar versus Austin should happen. If this is the match that WWE wants to go with at WrestleMania, alone it would sell out that entire fucking venue. One match that we have never seen before is that one. Two names alone would build that entire pay-per-view into the biggest show of all time. And it needs to be the biggest show of all time. I stated this many times. You need to have this be an all-star fucking event, okay? It's got to be an all-star event. There's no way around it. You're going to have each match, or the top 5 or 6 matches on this card, be legendary, all-out fucking classics, all right? A dream card. Now, I understand you guys are saying, JD, what are you going to do with the Wyatts and the Ambroses and the Zigglers and the Reigns and the Rollins, etc., the Bryans? Listen, they're going to have to take a back seat, or most of them are going to have to take a back seat. This is business now. This is business. Vince McMahon needs to get this card and what he wants set in stone, so when SummerSlam or the conclusion of SummerSlam comes, leading into the fall, you know where WWE is going with this. You have a solid idea where they're going with this. You cannot falter. You cannot be lazy on this. Vince knows this show needs to be the biggest ever. There's not going to be any fucking backpedaling on this. You need to reach out to who you want on this show, and you need to get them signed, committed, and you need to start booking these matches now. This type of match doesn't even need a build. This match alone, based on their names, would build this entire feud. They don't even need to be on TV every week. Lesnar, Austin, just alone in the fucking headlines would fucking build this match. You don't need anything besides that. They can show up once, twice a month before WrestleMania. Fucking, the interaction with Paul Heyman and Stone Cold Steve Austin live on Monday Night Raw while Lesnar stands there with his arms crossed looking like a beast. That's all you need. That's all you need. Now, the other thing that I'm concerned about, what happens with Lesnar? Obviously, if Austin's going into a match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, he's got to be a face. Do they hold off on Brock Lesnar's face turn until after next year's WrestleMania, or do they go with it full force? Because he's coming back in 4 weeks. He'll be back. At Battleground, he will be back, as I reported here on Off The Script. So what are they going to do? They're going to bring him back as a heel? Are they going to bring him back as a face and go head with a face? Are they going to have two faces possibly going at it at WrestleMania between Lesnar and Austin? I don't know. That's another question I want you guys to think about. But right now, the seeds were planted. Lesnar, Austin, WrestleMania 32, alone, that match would sell the entire event. Plus, I have breaking news about WrestleMania 32 tomorrow on Off The Script. You're not going to want to miss it. Where is Vince McMahon thinking? What is he thinking? What kind of matches do they have planned? I got 5 main events plus one that you're not even going to fucking believe they're talking about. I puked when I listened to this fucking this report. When I read this report, I puked at the fucking one dream match that Vince says might possibly happen at WrestleMania. You're not going to want to miss this report. You're not. Off The Script, the #1 source for WWE news and rumors, right here on YouTube.com. This is big. We got to start talking about it now because it's going to be the biggest event of all time. You got to believe it. You got to believe it. This is Off The Script. Hit that thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, like I said, thumbs the video up. Leave a comment down below. I'll be back with part 2, breaking news on WrestleMania 32. This is JD. I'll see you on part 2 for Off The Script. I'll talk to you guys later.